I looked at the title, Access and Handling. And obviously JCB are not known for their access equipment, but we've just got a few things to talk about. And obviously our handling, we've got involved. So my presentation is into 3 parts. And the first part of it is just to talk about access, because we are getting involved in the access business. We've got some erstwhile competitors, I know, but it's a big market out there. So if I look at, I've got to go back. I just talked about the product there. Sorry about that. How do I go back, please? It's a great start. I got it. Thank you. So we've started with our access. We're launching this product. We've started a launch and we'll get seriously involved next year with JCB access and starting with electric scissors. But the big question everyone has got is, why access for JCB? Well, obviously, as I was introduced, it's a big brand, and we thought that there was an obvious sort of synergy with our current products, our telehandler business. We also have, not familiar to many, but in the materials handling business, we have our Teletruck, which gives you all the benefits of a vertical lift mast, but also with a telescoping mast. So that's with our Teletruck offering. And one of the big decisions by our chairman was obviously we as a company, we do all our distribution through dealerships around the world. So we have 700 dealers worldwide with over 2,402 now branches supporting that product. So we as a manufacturer, we're engineers of course, but most important thing in our business is our distribution. And we have a very strong distribution worldwide. So that was one of the reasons we see that. We saw a requirement in the industry. Our model has always been to sell and support products through dealerships. So we actually also saw an opportunity to spread out that customer support for that product. And again, we have questions. This dealer network is key to providing the support to our customers. And we have 75 years. This year is our 75th anniversary. Quite a little bit of education. JCB, it's still a family-owned business. JCB stands for Mr. Cyril Joseph Bamford, who founded the company in 1945, and we still have the 3rd generation of Bamfords in the business, so it's a family-owned business. We have support in all the regions we work in to support our dealers and our customers. Spare parts, that's obviously very, very important to the product. And if we look at the range we're going to introduce next year, which will bring us through the program, if you like, of electric scissors was the first, diesel articulated booms, and then we'll have electric articulated booms and diesel scissors. These will be brought on through next year. And the model range we do here for the scissors, the S, and then it's you can just see by lift height and platform width. So that's where we're starting off there. So they're going to play a video for me, which goes on to the next subject. It's to do with access. And it's to do using our telescopic handler fitted with an access platform. This machine has, the platform can rotate through 180 degrees, so you can get it into sides of buildings. Apologies, this was a video clip put together very quickly last week because we haven't done an official launch yet. So it was just done up at our test quarry in the UK, and the weather is fantastic there last week. This is our remote control, and it's so that the operator in the platform can take control of the controls, take it out of the hands of the operator, so that whilst he's up there, it can't be interfered with underneath. You can see him there just taking control of that handset there. Those platform sides do let down, but this is just it was a quick video shot last week before we do our launch material. But this will be important on the sites. And that attachment, it is actually classed as an attachment. So the machine you saw outside there, or another machine has to be adapted, would be able to take that platform attachment and fix it to the machine. So it can be quickly converted into forks, to a bucket use, and so on. So what I want to show here is just so they would have disconnected the man platform. He's now going to go back onto fork work. So this again shows the versatility of the machine. And the video goes on quite some time, but I'll play a few more 30 seconds because I want to demonstrate why we think this particular machine will be good on sites because of its maneuverability. I pointed out downstairs that it has different steering modes, and this is an example of the different steer modes. So as we see here, it'll just go into two-wheel steer. So conventional front steering. He'll now go into all-wheel steer so that you can get much tighter turning circles. So again, maneuverability on site. And all this is change on the go. And this is the crabbing mode, so you can actually push the machine back into closer to use. So its maneuverability all around the site is exceptional. Okay, thank you. I won't bore you with any more on that. Thank you. So again, the JCB telescopic loadal, the ultimate in versatility. We can see that you can turn on a site, a construction site, you can turn your machine into not only a forklift, a sweeper, with bucket use, but also now with a man platform to use on it. This is JCB. That's what we're famous for, our telehandlers and backhoes. We've been the pioneer in it since 1977, so that's 42 years in the business. And we are the number one manufacturer in the world in a variety of applications. So we have different sets, and I'll go through them in a minute. This is what I was explaining earlier on about the drive chain. So JCB manufactures the axles, the transmissions, the engines, all in-house. And that's key to be in charge of the quality on the machine. All the way down the production line, we're in charge of the quality of that machine. So quality assurance, and I think as all us know as manufacturers, quality can be a very difficult cost in some cases, so you have to manage that quality. Quality in reduces your costs, and that's what it's all about. So I'll just flick through a few pictures on the various applications we got. Bucket work, these are all in the Middle East in the construction, fork work as well. We also do a lot of work in agriculture, in the European markets particularly, or North America, and it's slowly coming here. We have big clients with all the dairy farms and the farming community, so we have machines working there. And they can be in a variety of applications, but they tend to be more compact. Great visibility and so on over those. Also with a bucket in work in the grain stores. Waste and recycling. I mentioned earlier on that that's coming into this part of the world. So we have a complete range of machines for waste and recycling. And in a way, these machines are actually toughened up, because if you think you've seen abuse in construction sites, wait till you go on to a waste and recycling site, then you'll see some real abuse. So they're especially made. We call it our waste master. So there's tires, there's all sorts going on there. So the JCB Teletruck is the next one, because I wanted to talk about the changing construction sites we see in the Middle East, particularly in urban areas. We see that there are, as sites come more and more into the cities, that contractors are, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they'd set up their site offices and the materials in and out on a site next door to the site. That site is built in now, so they have to manage their materials flow. So what JCB have is the operation of a conventional forklift, but with a number of things in that taken after our telehandler range. It has a telescoping boom instead of a vertical lift mast. So you can reach out and over objects and so on. And there's some I hope you can see them pictures, but the bottom picture on the right is what crucial to a lot of sites. We call it single side loading. And that single side loading allows you to have half the space to unload trucks that are coming in, material in storage. You'll see some aspects in the top picture where we can, probably better in the next picture. Sorry, it's 4-wheel drive. So it can work. It has the ground clearance and to work on some of the, not soft sand, but it can work in sandy conditions. So 4-wheel drive, bucket work there. There's the single-sided, probably a better picture of it, so that you're only actually using half the space required, so it can reach over and load. There's a picture there where you can also reach out and over, so you don't have double handling. So again, storage on construction sites is excellent. And it's maneuverable, and it has all the attributes of a vertically masted forklift. But the main key thing, I won't show it here, but we talked about safety, is that because if you have your forks on the floor, you're looking at the machine because the boom is on the right, you're looking through the windscreen. When you're looking through, say, a 3-stage mast with a side shift on it, your forward visibility through the mast is very, very difficult. So the visibility is excellent on that. There's one more. You can see that, if you can see the picture, is very, very messy. Waste and recycling facility in the UK. Lots of abuse, lots of corrosive materials in there. Wire, ropes, everything to cause damage. So we build the machines specifically for those applications. And there you see the 4-wheel drive. That's a very wet, slippery container ramp. So the machine has the capability of going up to those gradients and working and so on. What I want to do is show you now, this is actually, we were talking about maneuverability on site, and this is just a quick comparison we did between a compact telescopic handler and the Teletruck, just giving you some of the advantages of it. And you can see there's the turning circle radius, very much lower on that. And we are selling this machine into, here's the maneuverability aspect, lots and lots of backwards and forwarding to get in there. And this is a simply in and out. So we are beginning to sell these into construction or to contractors, construction companies who will have a materials handling problem on site, storage, loading, unloading, and so on. You see that there's an example of the forward reach of the machine that a vertical masted lift truck couldn't do. Again, good forward visibility, no masts to block the visibility. We have side shifter standard, so you can actually place it correctly. This is quite poignant when you look at when you're handling materials. A lot of contractors naturally allow for damage in the actual handling of it. So there's a cost factor in terms of the handling. So the more visibility you can give to an operator, to a machine, less likelihood there is of damage to the product that they're unloading, and therefore help to reduce the on-site costs. And there you can see just a difference between the setup and the lift height, the operator position for visibility and so on. Okay, and then the natural progression we have on from that is obviously the fact that we have to look at the electric version, because obviously it's a useful tool for all the industries, construction, for the logistics and so on, but we see that all the sites, in some cases now materials being stored, needs an electric. So we've developed the new electric range. And this goes into what was the panel we're discussing earlier on, is that we do have, as a manufacturer, we do have to look at our emissions and control of that. So to bring out a range of forklifts now with battery electric is something that we've been developing now for a few years. You get a 6,000 hours warranty on the driveline. It's the same machine as before, but at the end of the day, you've got the battery life there. 8-hour run time on that. It was spoken earlier, you need 30% of the loading space on site. Again, the loading or unloading. The main thing we think that we see an opportunity worldwide is into these areas where traditionally they've had battery-operated forklifts but have not have the ability to go outside. This is in fruit and veg. It's impossible to use LPG trucks in there now because some of the fruits, some of the produce will get tainted by the LPG gas. So in areas like this, they have to go to battery electric. Fully weatherproofed and sealed, so no problems with it going outdoors. It can be configured to go in containers, so you can stuff and unstuff containers. And we've got a quick change time on the battery. But while we're talking about that, I haven't got a slide yet, but we will be launching at the Big Five, because again, the panel was saying earlier on, sometimes it's manufacturers who've got to drive this emission thing. Now, obviously here in the Middle East, and I alluded to it earlier, there is an issue with the fact that now we're having to manufacture engines Tier 2, Tier 3A, Tier 3B, Tier 4I, Tier 4 final, and now Stage 5. It's a manufacturing nightmare. And we have to do this for the legislated and obviously lower tiers for the non-legislated. The issue we find, though, is that the fuel quality, particularly the sulfur content of the fuel, is a major issue to electronic engines. So we're still having to produce Tier 2, Tier 3 for this market. And unfortunately, that's not something as a manufacturer that we can do something about, because it's governments that decide what type of fuel they're going to refine in these countries. So Tier 4 requires, or Tier 3B requires low sulfur fuel. Tier 4 I requires ultra low sulfur fuel. And the simple fact is the refineries aren't even being built out here. So it's a big, as manufacturers, it's going to be a big challenge for us to be able to provide the latest machines, but we don't have the fuel supply. And it's a government decision. But I'll finish on that, but just one more thing. We are launching, it's an exceptional product because I actually had the privilege to see it last week. Construction equipment, it was alluded to earlier on, will be going to electric wherever possible. This was our first foray into, if you like, an off-road machine that could go into battery electric. But in the Big Five, we're launching a mini excavator. Mini excavators are just small pieces of equipment that do a lot of digging in sites and buildings and so on. And we've put that into an all-electric mode, and we'll be pleased to launch that at Big 5. And that's going to be a game changer. So if you're ever at the Big 5, pop in and see us there. Okay? Thank you very much.